Hello and welcome to this track. It's the last track of the day, so thank you for coming. And I'll be talking about Windows 10 multiplayer gaming and Xbox Live integration on Windows 10 in this track today. So let's take a look at what I'll be going over today. I'll be starting by showing you the consumer experience of Windows 10 in regards to Xbox Live, so you will see what the gamer sees when they start up Windows 10. You might be already familiar with this because you already upgraded to Windows 10, but this is just to go over so everybody is on the same page for this. Then I will go into the cross-device functionality that you will see here, because a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is independent of the device that you are on. You can have this on the console, you can have it on the Windows 10 device, and you can have it on Windows 10 mobile. So you will actually see the same functionality across all of these devices. And after reviewing the gamer's view of Windows 10 and Xbox Live, I'm going to go into the developer aspects, which are interesting for you when you are building your own games. I will show you which services are available, a couple of examples, and I will also show you a couple of overarching functionality that you can use in your game. And at the end, we'll have some time for Q&A. So, what about Windows 10? Why is it such a big deal? We'll have 1.5 billion estimated Windows 10 users, so for gaming this is a huge platform. It is a gigantic platform when you think about all of the variety of users that you have with Windows 10 and all of the games that they could be playing. So there is something in there for every game developer out there. So this is a really great opportunity for you to have a wide-reaching game. With Windows 10 development of games across different devices, so Windows 10 on a tablet, Windows 10 on a regular PC, the Xbox One console, or Windows Mobile, all of this is unified in a better programming environment. So you have similar or the same APIs across all of these devices. And finally, all of the services of Xbox Live are identical across all of these devices as well. The question is not which device I'm using, it's just I always have the same Xbox Live service experience. For you as a game developer, this means you can provide the same functionality that is based on Windows 10 and on Xbox Live across all of these devices as well. Everything that runs Windows 10 will feel the same to the user. So how does a gamer actually get into Windows 10? This is the view from a gamer's perspective. If I start up Windows 10, what brings me to Xbox Live and what allows Xbox Live to enable gamers to see your game? The very first thing is the Xbox app and live tiles with the Xbox app. So you have here the start menu and you see the Xbox icon up on top in the center, and that is the live tile area that as soon as you're logged in will be refreshed with information about Xbox Live. For example, your gamer score, what your friends are doing, and so on. I will go into detail about this in a little bit, but that is the first stop for a player to see what is going on with Xbox Live and in general with their social experience. The second one is, once they click on the Xbox logo here, is that they actually start up the Xbox app itself. I will give you a demo for this, so I don't want to go into too much detail here, but it is the view into the social Xbox Live experience and in the metadata for your game. The next exposure point for games on Windows 10 is the notification area. There's a notification area that you can raise for Windows 10 to see all kinds of information that you received, the notifications, and these include things like achievements, like invites into games, invites into parties, and what my friends have been doing. So this is really powerful for your social interactions, especially for your game. If your game has a lot of friends, for example, of mine that are playing it, then I'm more likely to pick up your game and play with it. The next thing is both for users and developers, and that is the unified UI that you have, user interface that you have for Windows 10 and Xbox Live. It is things like generalized profile UI that you can pull up, achievements, and so on. So this provides a generalized feeling across all of the games that gamers understand and can come back to. And for you, this obviously saves you additional work for the specific UI that we already provide. For the next thing, you might have already seen a lot of news about, and that's the game bar. So if you press the Windows key and G, this will pop up. And with this, you can actually take screenshots and take videos of games, including games that are not on Xbox Live. And you can then save these videos and these screenshots and, for example, post them to your social network or share them with friends. I will go into this in a little bit more detail, what the game DVR actually provides specifically for Xbox Live a little bit later. And then finally, one thing that isn't related to Windows 10 directly, but I wanted to bring out here because it fits in the overall context, that is Xbox.com. We've upgraded with the launch of Windows 10 Xbox.com significantly. So a lot of the functionality for the social aspects, for example, what are my friends playing, what kind of recordings they have, and so on, is also available through the website. It's not a full functionality set, but it also allows you to stay in touch with your friends even from a mobile experience or from a web-only experience. So let's take a closer look at the Xbox app, and this is the main portal for getting into Xbox on Windows 10. It allows you to connect with your friends, with your games, and their games as well, with your triumphs, and across all of your devices. Because it doesn't really matter that you have played this on a specific device. As long as it runs Windows 10, you will see what is going on with Xbox Live for all of your friends. You will also notice that when you have friends that, for example, play on Xbox One, we don't specifically call that out in this UI, so it is just for being on Xbox Live. So I want to hop onto a quick demo here and show you the Xbox Live app in detail and really in live. Switch on. Switch. Switching. Display. Switch. Oh, Giotto.
Yeah.
Giotto. Two screens. There we go. There we go. Oops. There we go. Good enough. Good. There we go. Okay. So this is the Xbox app, and this is actually the direct Xbox app that is my personal view into Xbox Live. So this is real data that you can see, so if you use your own Xbox Live app, you will see something similar. This is not scripted, so this is really what you see when you go onto Xbox Live right now. And on this example, I actually want to show you a couple of things that actually you can do with the Xbox app. The very first thing is As you can see on the screen, on the left side, I've got a menu of, there's my avatar picture up there, and I've got a couple of functionality points that I can actually use. I'm not going to go into those right now. I want you to focus on the center aspect here, because on the left side, you can see the games that I've been using, and this is a great way for you to expose games to users, but also down here you can see additional games that we have in the store that are featured. So this is also a way to expose your game to gamers and to make them aware that your game exists. The center here is this, what we call the social feed, and that is information that I can see from my friends. What I've highlighted here already is Major Nelson's post. And what he has done, because I'm following him, he has broadcast Gears of War. And I can actually see that there were other people following up on this and liked what he was doing. And as you can see, oops. Sorry, this is a little bit complicated looking at this. There we go. As you can see, there's additional feed information that all of my friends have been doing. I can see how my friends have unlocked achievements and I can get other information for them. And for example, if I wanted to like something, get more information, I can click on this. It will give me more information about this achievement, and I can also choose to share or like this action that just happened on my social feed. So this is a great way for your game to get more social exposure, and with good achievements, information, for example, good pictures or good descriptions, you can actually get a lot of people play your game that otherwise wouldn't be aware about it. So the next thing I want to call out here, on the right side, you can see my friends. And up here, you will also see Start a Party. This would start a game party. I'm not going to do this up on screen because most of my friends are offline because they're in the US, so it's really late or early for them. But this is how I could interact with my friends, chat with them, and have them join a game. So now let's go back and actually look at a specific game, and I want to pick out Minecraft here, and this is the Minecraft beta. If I, as a user, actually click on this, I can get additional information for the Minecraft beta. Who has actually played it? What kind of achievements are available? Oops, there we go. What kind of achievements are available? I can see my progress. I've only finished 21%, but I can also see the progress that is made on each achievement. And I will show you later how you can actually enable this progress in your game and how this naturally comes through Xbox Live services. And then the interesting thing that you will see for the game DVR that I've just mentioned earlier is the captures here. These are captures from other players. Sorry, the network here is slow, so this takes a while to load. But you can actually see the captures and the screenshots, videos, and so on of other players in this list. Really slow. There we go. So you can see the screenshots and the videos that people have recorded for Minecraft. And if I wanted to just see what this is, I can just click on it and I can watch it right here. I can have the same experience for videos on the Xbox One console, and I can also have the same thing on the web. So all of this is called what we call the Game Hub, and for you as a developer, this is interesting because you can designate a specific user to maintain your Game Hub. So you can post to your Game Hub information, news, and additional promotional information that you want the users to know. You can also specify specific regular gamers as the showcase gamers for your game. This works really well if you wanted to have, let's say, a tournament, and the tournament winner is the showcase for your game. The additional things that you see over here is, we've already been in this view, But what I also wanted to call out is the specific achievements that I can have for myself. So I can drill down into my achievements and into the achievements of my friends and basically figure out what they've been playing and what I've been playing. And as you can see here by the progress bars, I get a lot of metadata with this automatically. So you as a game developer don't have to set anything up for us to be able to display this. And then finally, one thing that I wanted to point out, and that is, in case you were wondering where this color came from, I can do all of the color changes here. For example, I don't like the yellow because for a presentation that's not good. I can simply switch this over. I can save it. I can also change my avatar here. It is fully customizable here, and you've got the same experience across all Windows 10 devices as well. So now you can see everything has changed to the teal blue color. Down here there is an additional information. You can see a store icon. I'm not going to click on that for now. But there's also additional information like the Xbox Connect. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit after this demo, because this is the part where you can enable game streaming and where you can control an Xbox One directly through this application. Oh, switch back. So what I was already talking about during this demo was the Xbox Live chat. So you can chat with other players and start up game experiences with them, but this chat is not limited to Windows 10. It works across Windows 10 and Xbox One, so you can, if you have a game that works across both platforms, chat with your friends and then start a game experience. Here you can see Fable, which will be a cross-device experience. So you can play with those friends across Xbox One and Windows 10 and within Windows 10 and chat with them automatically. No additional work for the title required for this specific experience for party chat. As I was saying earlier, with this party chat is just another aspect of the communities that I've shown you. So this Game Hub screen that you saw before, like you see down here, where I saw which friends were playing a specific game and the game feed, all of this is just to showcase your games more. So that I, as a player, can find out what my friends are doing, and you, as a developer, can expose your game to more gamers out there and hopefully get them to play your game. So there's a lot of showcasing here in this activity feed. It doesn't only include achievements and video recordings, but it also includes things like leaderboards, if it's popular with the community and a lot of friends have commented on something, or just in general activity. And you can curate most of this through a specific user account that you designate to manage the hub for your game. And these gaming all-stars that I mentioned earlier are really the key here if you want to have community participation, because the community can be a big feature in your game hub and for your game presentation here. The thing that I didn't show during this presentation was the notification area of Windows 10 because I would actually have to get an incoming notification. But this is a great way too to get additional exposure for your game. So I can see if I've got an achievement that I just recently unlocked in the notification bar. If somebody invites me into a game or into a chat party, I will actually see that there as well. And I will have additional feed information from a friend, for example, if they unlocked an achievement. So this comes automatically. The user will be able to go back and see what the history of a specific event was through that notification bar on Windows 10. The other thing, though, that a game might be interested in that we already use for Xbox Live and for the Xbox app is the live tiles. At the bottom here, you can see snapshots of the Xbox app and what it does with live tiles, and that is, it shows you information about your gamer profile, about the game that you were playing, general Xbox Live information, and just your friends' icons. But you as a game can choose to have something similar where, although I'm not directly interacting with your game, you already get some metadata to the user before they even click and start up the game. So I can immediately see, oh, there's a new event today, or there's some popular behavior with my friends. The recordings that you saw underneath the Game Hub or in general, these are done through what we call the Game DVR. And the Game DVR for Windows 10 is available wherever you are. So it is available on the Xbox One, but it's also available on Windows 10. And it is not only available for Xbox Live enabled games. In general, you can record most games on Windows 10. There's a slight difference in terms of functionality, because when you are on an Xbox Live enabled game, it is a very simple way of pushing the recording and the screenshots like you have seen onto Xbox Live. When you are in a non-Xbox Live enabled game, then obviously this is not possible, and you can still choose to export this recording and, for example, put it on YouTube. All of this for you as a game developer and as a gamer allows you to show off what you have done in a game. This is obviously great because you don't have to build this functionality yourself. You can just rely on Windows 10 and also Xbox One to have this built in for you. And it works great because I don't need to know as a gamer when something great happens, because I can do the recording after the fact and get additional videos from something that just happened. And from the browsing and sharing perspective, like you have seen previously in the demo, there's a nice list that I can sort in various ways and get the coolest and the most recent or the most well-liked information and screenshots and videos. The Xbox Smart Glass is what I was calling out before. That was the connect button that I didn't click on because here on the network it wouldn't show me anything. But this is fundamentally the Smart Glass functionality that you might already have seen previously, both on Xbox One and Xbox 360. But the functionality is much more powerful with Windows 10. You have the ability to control a console directly through Windows 10 and the Xbox app here. You can also look at TV information if you have specified which cable provider you are actually using. And in general, this is just another view into the cross-device world that Xbox One and Xbox Live enable here in this case. The Smart Glass can also be used as a second screen companion if you have, for example, a console experience that requires you to have a second screen. This is a way for all Windows 10 devices to automatically become that second screen. But there is another aspect here that you have seen probably in the news, and that is the game streaming. That is not exactly the direct thing that you have with Smart Glass, but it's something similar. Game streaming allows you to stream your console game to the PC. So if my TV is in use because, let's say, my wife is watching TV and she doesn't want to give it up, I can just stream this to my tablet or to my Windows 10 PC, and I can play exactly what I have on Xbox One. This is an interesting new way of play, and you just have additional eyes on your game that otherwise wouldn't be able to interact with your game. So for you as a developer, you don't need to do anything special to enable this. This is automatically available for Windows 10 and for Xbox One games. The most recent update for the game streaming that just came out last week has made this a true 1080p 60 frames a second experience, assuming that you have a strong enough network connection at home. And just to be clear, this is for local networks only. So for me to go from my home where I'm in the living room to my office or to stay within the home. This is not cross-intranet streaming. So all of this functionality is available in Windows 10, but here on this slide I just wanted to show you quickly how this stacks up to other aspects of Xbox Live, specifically Xbox One, the console, and then the Xbox app on Windows mobile devices as it is available right now. You can see the best functionality and most of the functionality is available on Windows 10. There is additional functionality available on purely on the web as well with Xbox.com, but in general, all of this functionality is intended to converge. So it doesn't really matter which device you use Xbox Live on, it will just be there for gamers and for developers. So you might now be asking, how does this look for my current game? I like Xbox Live, but I don't have the time to implement Xbox Live for this version of my game. What does it look like in terms of a player experience? So when you have a regular Windows game as it is right now, without any integration of Xbox Live, you will not see the presence or additional information on the Xbox Live app. So this will just be as if I wouldn't be playing a game. I will still be able to get the game DVR, like I was saying, with a slightly different way of publishing those screenshots or the videos. I can only upload those clips to something like YouTube and save them locally, but I cannot upload them to Xbox Live. That is all you get if you use a regular Windows game right now. If you've got an Xbox Live enabled game, you get all of these services that I've listed here. Obviously, this is a big list, but what you just have to take away from this is you get all of these services both as a gamer and as a developer directly for your game. You can interact with them, you don't have to build them yourself. You get a better integration with the game DVR because you can just one-click expose this on your activity feed and share it with your friends. And you will also be able to see the gaming history and all of the additional functionality in the Xbox Live app directly. So this brings us to the developer experience for Windows 10 and for integrating Xbox Live. Because you've already seen this big list on the last slide, so I want to show you a couple of examples of how you integrate Xbox Live with your game. All of the functionality that I'm going to talk about with Xbox Live is available across all of the Windows 10 devices, so I want to make this clear. For you as a developer, when you enable Xbox Live on your game, you've got full access to the services. So it doesn't matter which Windows 10 device you're on, you've got the same functionality across all of them. You've got the same API level access and the same service level access. And in general, you can expect that there are very similar APIs or common UI across all of the Windows 10 platforms. We also will provide additional network functionality, for example, for socket communication or for secure socket communication across these platforms, so you don't have to worry about the specific implementation details. And as a player, this means that it doesn't really matter which device I'm on. I know I'm repeating myself on this, but I just want to make it clear that as a gamer, I should not need to concern myself which device I'm on. I should just be able to play and have a great time. That also means that smooth multiplayer should be available across Windows 10 devices and also with Windows 10 and Xbox One. This is all the functionality that can enable smoothly through Xbox Live. So let's take a high-level look at how you would implement Xbox Live in your game. So first, you've got a regular Windows game that you want to make an Xbox Live enabled game. You create you port your game code into the Windows Universal Platform. You might have seen that already earlier today. So you have this Universal Windows Platform application here with your game code. The next step is that you use the Xbox Live SDK, which provides access to the Xbox Live services. So this will use the authentication that you receive from the Universal Windows application, so the signed-in user, and allow you to make Xbox Live service calls. For example, uploading data for your achievements, for your leaderboards, or browsing profile information or looking at friends lists, something like this. There's also another aspect, and that's the Xbox Live extensions, and that is not specifically for service calls, but just for common UI or secure socket communication. So this is another aspect that you can optionally add to your application. Your game code might also call to a game server, your own game server that sits somewhere either in the cloud or in your data center. That game server also can use the Xbox Live SDK or your own implementation of it to interact with Xbox Live services. For example, to double check a user session or to modify a user session. And all of this is configured through the Windows Developer Center. So this is where all of the communication for both your services that you're using and for your title itself, for your game, would occur. But I want to point out that these APIs that you're using down here on the client are very similar or identical to what you would be using on other Windows 10 platforms, including Xbox One. So you write the code for this universal application platform once, and you don't have to modify it significantly to move onto a different Windows 10 platform or device. For example, on mobile, you might choose to change the UI, but the underlying service calls would still be identical. So which services do you actually have available? I've shown you the big list when I was showing a not Xbox Live enabled app and an Xbox Live enabled game earlier, but I want to give you an even deeper view into the services. So these are arranged by no particular order. I just like this grouping because the very first grouping will show you the social services, and you can see you've got profile here, you've got reputation, you've got social, which for example gives you friends lists, you've got rich presence, you've got leaderboards, and you've got game clips. All of this just facilitates a social interaction for your game and profile information. And you, as a game developer, can pick and choose which one you're using from this list. You don't have to use all of them. You can choose what's best for your game. There's also the game experience services. Those are loosely grouped the data platform services and the achievement services. There are obviously more services here, but those are the most common ones that you will use as a game developer. And I will show you in a couple of slides how the data platform service actually interacts with achievements and allows you to get these progress bars in the Xbox Live app that you have seen earlier in the demo. And finally, there are multiplayer services that I want to call out here because those are interesting for you if you do multiplayer functionality either on Windows 10 or cross-device. And those are the multiplayer session directory and a matchmaking service which we call the Smart Match service. Those are not the only ones, but those are the two big ones. So your title can pick and choose from these services, and I'm going to show you a handful of them in more detail. But before we actually do that, I want to give you an example of how these services are used in just the demo that we had earlier. So previously, you remember this view from my demo. How do the services actually work with this? Well, the very first thing is up here, that is the profile. So when I clicked on this and you saw the additional information for me as the player with the achievements and so on, this came from the profile service, and it also used data platform in addition. This over here, all of the information for the games uses the Xbox Live Marketplace and the data platform services, so I can actually see the information of things that I have played and what is available currently in the marketplace. Again, the data platform is integral to the center as well, this feed that I get from my friends. But there's also game clip information, achievement information, a lot of other metadata available here as well. But these are the same services that you would be using for your own game. And then finally, on the side, where I see all of my friends, this is the social service, where I can get friends list, profile information for friends, and also multiplayer information, because I can click on one of these friends and invite them into a chat party and invite them into a game. So now I want to dive into what the profile service actually provides to you, because this is the most integral thing that you will be using with Xbox Live. What the profile service gives you is a unified Xbox Live profile, the profile that the user signs into Xbox Live with. What this gives you is information about the avatar, but not only the avatar, it allows you access to the social graph of that user. So you can figure out who their friends are, and you can suggest them, for example, for invites in the game. You can highlight them, and you can provide a very custom and personalized experience. In addition to that profile, it is also based on general information that you want for that user. So you will have access to achievements, hero stats, progress, and additional game-related information that you really want to show within your game to showcase what your friends and what you yourself have done. So this is the base for all of the functionality for all of the other services that I'm going to cover over the next couple of slides. So once you have a user signed in, the next question might be, okay, I've got that user signed in, I know who that user's friends are, I now want to have a multiplayer experience. So let's look at the multiplayer session directory next. So how does the multiplayer session directory work? I've got a game here, I've got a signed-in user, I've got the profile available, and I want to share information and find out who to play with. So the very first thing I would do from my game perspective is write into the multiplayer session directory a new session. So this is my information for my game. Hey, I want to play a team-based multiplayer game, 5 versus 5, for example, and here's the additional information for my local player, and I'm ready to basically start this game. So I write this into the multiplayer session directory, which then saves this on the back end in cloud storage. So this would be totally opaque to the game developer, but I just want to show it to you what happens underneath the covers. So this goes into cloud storage, and then I've got a real-time notification service here that actually provides notifications about changes to this cloud storage, for example, when other players join or leave my session. This loops back around to the title, so if I've made a change to the session document, I will be notified about it. Another player would then search for this session, for example, through the Smart Match service, and identify this is the session that I wanted to join. Or I would send out an invite from my game. It just links back into this multiplayer session document. That player, once they have started their game, would then read the session document and write a change into it. They would join the session document. At that point, the real-time notification service notifies the other instance of the game that can react to this new joined user, for example, wait for an incoming connection or establish an outgoing network connection. And we are fundamentally bound together through this multiplayer session. And at the same time, that user also can get real-time notification out of the multiplayer session when it, for example, changes. So this is a very quick way and a very asynchronous way of how you can share information through the multiplayer session directory between players and bring them together. Ultimately, you want the two games left and right to directly communicate over the network, but this is the way to get there. So now that I've got a multiplayer session going, I've had a multiplayer experience, you might be interested, how do I actually unlock achievements, or how do I submit data to leaderboards? And that is what the data platform service is for. The data platform service works a little bit different like the multiplayer session directory, but you will see a little bit of a similar structure. The way that I, as a game developer, update achievements or update leaderboards is through events. So you, as a game developer, would write an event. That event would, for example, be, I just finished a game and I've won this game. So you would write this event. That is abstracted on Windows 10 for you, so you just write this and you don't need to worry about it any further. What Windows 10 does for you is it writes it out into a data receiver on the Xbox Live side of the service. That data receiver changes that event into a more meta event that can then be consumed by the stats engine. The stats engine can then identify, oh, this is an event for, let's say, in this case, match completed. And I need to use this event for my leaderboards and for my achievements. And I can also expose it through presence. And I can have multiple achievements and multiple leaderboards that actually work with this event. So I only fire one event for completing a game, and I can unlock multiple achievements and update multiple leaderboards without any additional title code and game code needed. And then as a game, I can also subscribe to changes to these stats, where I can be notified, for example, if my friends have unlocked an achievement or if my leaderboard entry has changed. So what does that mean in detail actually for achievements? How does this really work if I wanted to unlock an achievement? So here I've got an achievement for winning 5 games or 5 matches. Like I said, I would first create an event in my game and I would fire that event that would be something of an event. In this case, I say game result event. So this is an event that I fire when the game has completed. I have user information in there. I have notified that this event is a win, and the type of it is a 5 versus 5 match. The interesting thing here is that this event, I might only use part of that data, so I might only be interested in the win event, but if I provide additional metadata, I might be able to use this in the future for new achievements or for updated leaderboards or similar data that I want to expose in the future in my game. Remember, all of this is configured on a service, so you can make changes after you release your game without changing game code. So this event would eventually be converted into a stat, and that stat would be something, let's say in this case, the number of wins. The only thing that I'm interested here is the sum of all of the game result events that were a win. This is pseudocode, obviously, but that is fundamentally how you configure this on the service. So you don't have to write any code for your game to do this summation, but you just configure this on the service. And then your game could query the number of win stats, but in this case, what we have actually done is we link that stat to an achievement, and we unlock this achievement if the number of wins is greater or equal to 5. And at that point, the service automatically unlocks that achievement. Now what you have seen here is it doesn't really matter where this event comes from. So it could be playing on one PC, then on the next, I could be playing on a tablet, or I could be playing on Xbox One. As long as I fire that event, and as long as this is my game, the achievement will eventually be unlocked. This is great for users because with the cloud game saves, they can just migrate from device to device and they don't have to worry about where they are playing. All of this data platform information and the stats, those are exposed in the Xbox app and allow that whole social experience that I've shown before. But I want to call out again here that this is also available to your game. You can get the leaderboards, you can see the achievements, you can get the gamer score of a user, you can create challenges for your games, which are temporary achievements that are released after the game has shipped, so you can keep your game fresh and you can keep your users engaged. In case you're wondering what hero stats are, I've mentioned this before, those are specifically highlighted statistics. For example, how many matches I've won or how high my level has went, that you want to highlight for your game. So you can highlight specific cool things in your game or cool statistics that you want the players to know. All of this is really powerful because you as a game developer don't have to build this service, you can just use it, and you can make all of these changes after you have released your game. So you can update, create new challenges, you can make sure that old stat information that you've already submitted into the service gets new use, for example, for a new challenge that you have just seen is really cool with your gamers. So this keeps your game fresh and keeps players excited. And the final piece, animation. And the final piece that I wanted to call out here that I mentioned in the beginning but haven't shown in detail, that is what we call the title callable UI. So that is UI that you can use from Xbox Live services or from Windows 10 that will have standardized functionality. For example, you can have the Xbox Live gamer card. So this is a gamer card information that you can display for the user. You don't have to create this. You can just call one API and this will be shown to the user. The same applies for multiplayer invites. You don't have to create your own UI for inviting a player into a multiplayer match. And achievement UI, for example, is the same thing. So you can benefit from these UIs, not just these, but additional ones, and you don't have to create your own user interface. This helps you keep it a standardized experience across Windows 10 devices, but it also reduces the work effort that you have to do. So this pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about today. I hope I wasn't too high level for you because I was struggling with the fact if I should put more code into here, but I wanted to give you a bigger view of all of the services rather than diving into one service alone and showing you too much code. So I hope it provided you a good overview of the services that are available. These are not the only ones that I have shown, but there are definitely more services that you will be interested in when you are making your game. So let me summarize before I go to Q&A. What I want you to take away is that Windows 10 has a very deep game and Xbox Live integration. So you as both a game developer and as a gamer have a lot of functionality available that is built into Xbox Live and that is exposed on Windows 10. So all of the services that I've shown you before, the UI and the exposure through, for example, the smart tiles, the live tiles, or through the Xbox app, all of this is available to you on Windows 10. The development is simplified because you can use similar APIs between Xbox One and Windows 10 and across the whole Windows 10 ecosystem. You might change specific formatting, for example, of your UI or specific functionality, but all of the services and the functionality is identical across Windows 10. You don't have to build these services, they're already there for you, the Xbox Live services. And again, it doesn't matter where these services are actually located where you use them. You can use them from any Windows 10 device, and the user should not have to worry about which device they're actually playing on. So if all of this was exciting to you, here's a little bit of a follow-up what you can do next. Obviously, install Windows 10 if you haven't already done so. I hope you have already done so. Grab Visual Studio 2015. There is actually a link in the page that we have handed out with the CEDEC information. So you can find another link for Windows and Visual Studio 2015 there. But then, if you want to go into development, please talk to your Microsoft representative if you have one, or go to the xbox.com WAC ID link. You will find more information there. And then there's also generalized development information for Windows 10 and the universal applications at the first link, this dev.windows.com. All of this is available in the pamphlet that we have provided in the CEDEC package, so you don't necessarily have to copy it from there. And with this, I want to thank you very much, and if you've got any questions, please go ahead. どうもありがとうございました。
お話ありがとうございました。質問なんですけども、今回 Windows と Xbox で連携をするということで、実績等の情報が Windows アプリ側でも触れるようになっているかと思うんですけども、セキュリティ的な面とかで何か開発で気をつけた方がいいものとかっていうのはあったりするんでしょうか。
The safest approach for if you've got security concerns, for example, for achievements, is to make everything service-based. So you minimize any risk with modified safe games on the Windows side of things, because obviously Windows as an operating system is not as strictly as secure as Xbox as a console. So as long as you don't save achievement progress in safe games and only send up events, the security will be significantly higher, and you shouldn't have to worry about any specific security concerns with achievements. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you very much. どうもありがとうございました。